The holiday season can bring up a lot of emotions for a lot of people, and they're not always good emotions. So, what I want to talk about today is when our body goes into these modes of self defense unconsciously, a lot of the times, which would be the fight, flight, freeze, fawn modes, and how you navigate being in environments when you switch into those modes, and also how to feel safe in your body again. I talked about recently in a video of how it's not a discipline issue when you feel this procrastination, you feel lazy, nothing's working for you anymore, you have all the information, but what do you do next? And how that's a safety issue within your own body. And this is switching into those modes of the fight, flight, freeze, fawn. These are self defense mechanisms that your body does when it feels threatened. And your threat can come through a lot of different ways. This can be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. These threats can look differently for everyone. And the thing with this is it's stress levels in your body. And so it's like the temperature dial. You turn it up 1 degree and you feel that's when you start to feel a difference. Like that's when the temperature turns on and starts to pump out that heat. Or if you're turning it down, once you hit below freezing, that one temperature difference is when it goes to freezing. That changes things, right? You're going to really feel a difference. Water solidifies, there's different things like that. So it's just a temperature difference of like 1 degree, and then you switch into this mode. So if your stress level's already high, you may not even be aware of how high your stress levels are, because it's things that stresses your body that's not like outside of yourself, such as toxins, such as the types of food that you eat. You may not know that certain foods react differently in your body. This is all happening internally. And then you add on toxins from the environment, the air quality, the drinks that you're drinking. You're overdoing the sugar during the holiday season usually. A lot of carbs, probably lack of sleep slash your sleep schedule's off because of the sunlight and your circadian rhythm and just everything like that. Then you have the stress of the holidays, of work, depending on your job. It can be a higher stress environment. You add all these things on top of each other. And you may not necessarily think that you're stressed because you're like, I'm fine, I'm getting through. It's just a holiday season, blah, blah, blah. But your body is telling a story. And if you're not listening to your body, you won't know until something happens. And then you're like, why do I feel this way? Well, I'm always like this during this time of the year, blah, blah, blah. And then you start to identify yourself with those things when it's not who you are. It's something that happens to you. And it's something to bring more awareness to, and let's start to adjust and change things. So, again, maybe we need to back off of the sugar. We need to look at our sleep habits and maybe make some adjustments there. We're not getting enough sunlight. We need to take some vitamin D. Where is it that we need to make an adjustment? Because there's these little things, like I said, that's the temperature dial. And once you hit below a certain temperature internally, you're going to have things that affect your body. And then when something stressful does happen, that one little thing, it's going to tip you over the edge. Your body's going to go into this self defense mechanism, which, it's going to determine that, everybody's individual experiences are going to determine how you react at that point. And for me, I've hit all of those before. I've had to fight a lot in my life, just fighting back to things, just reacting, having that anger that builds up inside and then it explodes. Flight, I've taken flight a lot. I've ran, I've left, just all the things, cut off people, just situations, whatever it is. Freeze, I'm feeling a sense of freeze right now. So today I'm taking it pretty easy. I did a little bit of stuff. I'm doing this video right now. I'm going to go ahead and do it now because I feel like I want to do this while I'm feeling this way so I can share it with you all. And I'm going to go rest some more for the rest of the day. I'm going to do what I need to do for my own health. And then I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be a better day, a new day. Or I'm going to wake up refreshed and ready to go again. But just, it's something internal with me today, and I'm not going to beat myself up about what's happening inside. And then there's the fawn. A lot of my younger life was a lot of the fawn. It's the people pleasing. It's the doing whatever to make everybody happy. It's the taking the light off of you so that you feel safe and you can make everybody else feel safe in that environment so that everybody should be good. Although, that's a temporary fix. All these are just temporary things and they're used to keep you protected. But when it's overdone, when we have chronic stress, again, during this season, one thing after another, on top of the other, on top of the other, it builds up. And so I want to tell you a couple things that will help bring some more safety into your body. I talk about this a lot on my channel, so if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. But some safety things that you can do, I talk about this often. I have it tattooed on my wrist, is to breathe. Okay, breathe. This is a reminder whenever I look at it. And that's because this has helped me so much. There's been some dark times in my life, and I'm sure a lot of you have had that as well. And for me, it's been coming back to center, coming back to the present moment, because this is all we have right now. And you can do a lot of different things. Then we have free will, and granted, whatever you do will have consequences to it. There's going to be something that comes from it. So we're not gonna go do any and everything usually, but I can choose to breathe. I can choose to smile. I can choose to put on certain music. I can choose to go take a nap. I can choose to eat something that is nourishing and healthy for my body. I can choose to drink some water. I can choose to get up and go walk outside. I can choose to get up, wash the dishes, fold some clothes, anything you can choose to do. And a lot of times when I'm in this position, I would try to choose something that it has momentum behind it. That if I do it, it will help me feel better in the future. So for my future self, if I fold those clothes, it's going to make my environment feel cleaner. And when I wake up, I don't have not dirty clothes, but I don't have clothes everywhere. And that's already done, and it's going to feel refreshing. And so all I need to do in the morning is look at my planner, do whatever the next thing is that I need to do. I don't have to worry about any other stuff. It clears my mental clutter too. So that's setting my future self up. Same thing with like going and walking or moving my body in some sort of a way. It sets my future self up because I'm now being active. I'm staying consistent with the activity that I've been doing. I'm getting that fresh air. That's again helping with my stress levels. The breathing, again, I talked about this before. It's called a psychological sigh. So you do a double inhale and a long exhale. That first one's a little weird. But anytime you do a longer exhale, you allow your nervous system to calm down. You're sending a signal to your body that you're safe. So it may seem very small and basic, but if you do it with a longer exhale multiple times, then you can calm yourself down. You can touch your body, you can hug your body, you can rock your body, dance again, walking, any of these things will allow your body, it'll signal to your mind then and your body that you're safe, and so we can calm down. Now we can start to turn that dial. These are little ways to turn that dial to get it back into a regulated zone, a regulated area, because we're starting to hit our limits on either end. Okay, and so we're going to breathe, we move our body. We also need to release, but not through the mind. We don't need to just sit there and think about things. We're not going to be able to figure it all out in our brain, no matter how smart you are. You need to write it down. Get you post-it notes, notepads. I got so many like notebooks, journals. Write whatever comes to mind. You can burn it if you don't want anybody to see it. You can ball it up, tear it up, cut it up. I just got this dry erase, little portable dry erase board right here. And so I can write things down and you can erase it. But either way, get it out of your head and onto something. And that way you zoom out from whatever those things are. Again, you may not think you're very stressed, but you have a lot on your plate and you have a lot on your mind. And again, this is a whole dial situation here. Your load is getting too much, so we need to relieve the load. So we're doing that by releasing it out of our brain and getting it out. We could do artwork as well. do some sort of a arts and crafts type of a thing. When you're being creative, you get into the zone, you're getting out of your head, and we're expressing ourselves. You express those emotions, okay? We're putting energy behind those emotions and getting them out onto something. This is a visual activity as well, something you're doing with your hands. Again, that's a movement. And so these are, when you're in that zone, you feel safe. Usually people don't create if they're not safe, right? And so you just want to show your body that you're safe. So whatever that means for you. Sometimes we would resort to food, but comfort foods for emotional eating obviously is not the healthy choice because you're just emotional eating. And usually you're feeding your gut, and a lot of people have parasites. I mean, and bad bacteria, and that's what you're feeding, and it wants sugar. And it wants that stuff that tastes good and smells good and all this other stuff. Not to say that your food can't taste and smell good and be good for you, but a lot of times we resort to prepackaged, processed things, sugary drinks, full of calories, and we just eat so much and we just gorge it to feel good in the moment. And then afterwards, we don't feel good. You feel full, you feel stuffed, you feel tired now, like all the things. And so feed yourself something healthier. And if you start to do that, you're going to start to feel the benefits of that. Again, we're treating our future self because our future self will now feel better. It may not feel so good in the moment. You'd rather eat that Big Mac or that ice cream or whatever the thing is, but in the future, you're going to beat yourself up. Like, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. I messed up. Blah, blah, blah. Now you're beating yourself up, negative self talk. Now you're going to go into a loop and a spiral, and that's not good. So we want to set our future selves up. At the same time, again, we're creating that safe space inside. But, take your time. Don't rush the process. Be patient. Again, like I said, for me right now, I need to rest. I need to get a nice warm blanket over me, some weight on me. I need to relax and just like clear my mind, zoom out. I do have my collage stuff with me, so I do want to do some collaging, and that's probably all I will do for the rest of the day. And this will help me regulate my system and feel safe, and my emotions can then regulate. And again, not identifying with them, but just allowing it. It was a day that I had. Tomorrow will be a better day. Okay, and in the productivity space, in the health space, in the hustle culture, entrepreneurship, a lot of people don't like to talk about slowing down. They don't want to talk about having some days off. They don't want to talk about getting sleep. And that's been a struggle for me because being in that space, it's all this hustle culture. No sleep, team no sleep, all this other stuff. Like just go, 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 push, push, push. And now, depending on your age, depending on your situation, your season in life, yes, do that. It's important. Action is important. But also, a form of action is rest. That can be productive. A form of action is creating and slowing down. A form of action is eating healthier, but slowing down so you can relieve that stress on your body and feel safer in your body. Because again, if we push, 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 we're just going to burn ourselves out. And I'm not talking about mentally, physically as well. That's when you breed disease. Okay, because again, we're just all hyped up off of sugar and caffeine and all these stimulants and stuff to keep going. And over a period of time, that is not healthy. And you will have a buildup of toxins and stress in your body. And your body eventually will not be able to withstand that. That's temporary. And for me, when I got really deep into my health and wellness, and it wasn't just a physical fitness thing, being an athlete, it was wellness. And that was because I didn't want to be an older person on a lot of pills. I didn't want to be an older person in a lot of pain. I wanted to be able to still be active when I'm older. If I retire, but I can't move, and I'm in pain, and I'm paying all these medications and stuff, I mean, that's what they want you trapped in. And I don't want to be a part of that system. And it's a form of rebellion for me to live this lifestyle in the way that I do, because they want you to be dependent on them. Because if you're sick, if you need these things, you're always dependent on them. If you're addicted to certain things, you're always dependent. So if we can eliminate a lot of that, you're a more sovereign being and you strengthen yourself. Then you're not dependent on that system, at least as much. And then you can also help others because we can't rely on them. We can't rely on those systems and things like that. We know that. So it's community. And if our community is weak, then we're all weak. So we need to be able to build our community, but we also have to be there for our community. And we need to be strong and healthy, you know? So we do the things that we can do, take it one day at a time. But this is a part of my lifestyle. And like I said, it's a part of a rebellion in a sense. It's a sacred rebellion. Okay, some people may not see it that way, but I do. And I believe that, again, they want to keep you stuck and addicted and comfortable to a degree to where you stay in the loop, in the cycle. And I believe that our bodies can heal ourselves, but like to a high degree. Obviously, certain emergencies and things, that takes different situations, different practices and doctors and, Western medicine and whatever. But the whole point is that we do have power, we have agency, we have strength, and so to use that instead of complaining and putting ourselves in a position to where we can't help ourselves. That's just unfortunate, and I hate to see that. So I do my part, and it starts with me, starts within, starts with you, and then we can go out and help others. But how can I help somebody if I'm weak? How can I help somebody if I can't lift things, if I can't bend over, if I have all this back pain? And I know how that is. I know about back pain, but I also know the stretches now because I went through it and I learned, and I didn't just give up. So that's just my journey. And again, I like to share that. So if you're new, subscribe. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing today for myself to feel safe in my body. Hopefully you found something in this to help you. If you are feeling a bit in the self-defense mode, whether consciously or unconsciously, you feel yourself getting angry, short-circuited, you're wanting to run, you're wanting to retreat, you're wanting to do these different things. We need to regulate. We need to turn that dial, relieve some of that stress, those things that are weighing on you. Tap into build safety within. We do it with our breath. If you like to meditate, you do it by meditating. Do it by going out in nature and slowing down. Okay, slowing down doesn't have to be for the whole day either. We can have moments in our day where we do that. When we transition, we pause, we regroup, we tap in, feel into your body. Where do I feel it? In my heart, in my throat, in my stomach? Where am I feeling it? Do I need to release something? Do I need to scream? Do I need to dance, move, go work out? Whatever it is, write something down. Whatever that is, I do that. I give that to myself. I also give myself permission. Give yourself permission to pause. Give yourself permission to rest. And then we can pick those things back up and keep going. But take care of yourself so that you can take care of others too. And work on the mental health. That's a part of it. And how you talk to yourself. Don't get stuck in the identifying with those emotions and things like that. They're going to pass. These are things that are going to pass. So you just allow the time to pass. Give yourself a few minutes to feel it, but don't stay stuck. Don't stay stuck. You need to then release and move it out of your body and then give your body a sense of safety. Calm the breathing. Calm your heart rate. Relax. Drink some warm tea. Eat something good for you. Right now it's colder usually wherever you are, so soups, stews, something that is warm with some herbs and spices in it that will be good for you. Take your vitamins if you need it. Get that vitamin D, like I said. Get that rest as well. We just came out of the winter solstice, so happy winter solstice. That was the longest night of the year, the darkest night, and now we're getting into more light. Now we're coming into the part where the light will start to stay slightly longer day by day. So we're coming out of it. That's good news. But we are still in winter. We are officially in winter now. And so there's a level of hibernation that may need to be had, especially after all this holiday season.